This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 740, A Lighter, Simpler, More Beautiful Holiday by Allison Fallon with BecomingMinimalist.com, and I'm Justin Malik, your very own personal narrator. Welcome to the podcast where blogs are read to you so that you can take a break from staring at a screen. Today's post comes from a guest author on Becoming Minimalist. But before we get to her post, thank you to FreshBooks for sponsoring this episode. FreshBooks is the company I recommend and use for invoicing, time tracking, expense tracking, and more. Come check them out totally free for a month and without entering any kind of payment info by visiting freshbooks.com/living. For now, let's get right to her post and continue optimizing your life. A Lighter, Simpler, More Beautiful Holiday by Allison Fallon with BecomingMinimalist.com. Quote, "When we recall Christmas past, we usually find that the simplest things, not the great occasions, give off the greatest glow of happiness." Bob Hope. I believe it is possible to do less, buy less, cook less, work less, and even decorate less, and still have a full, happy, satisfying, beautiful holiday season. But in order to get there and stay there, we're going to have to focus on a few changes of mindset. Or at least I am. The other day, my husband and I were driving to an event together, and out of nowhere, he asked, "Hey, do you realize we've never bought each other Christmas presents?" Honestly, when he asked that question, my heart leapt a little. I knew it was true, but it sounded so harsh to say it outright like that. In fact, I found myself feeling a little embarrassed, thinking of a million excuses for why this was the case. We've only been married for 2 Christmases. We've been trying to get out of debt. The first Christmas we were together, we were busy planning a wedding. But just as I started to let my thoughts get away from me, my husband spoke up again. "Honestly, it doesn't bother me if it doesn't bother you." The truth is, it doesn't really bother me. But I find myself thinking it does. I find myself worrying what people will think or what they'll say if they find out. I find myself thinking about what others are doing for the holidays that I'm not doing and feeling pressure to make my holiday season look and feel a certain way. But our decision to forego Christmas presents, which was mostly out of necessity at the time we made it, has actually opened space for us to have a lighter, simpler, more beautiful Christmas. I'm not against celebrating or against buying presents. In fact, my husband and I may buy each other presents one day. But I do believe the common maxim, less is more, applies to the holidays more than it does to just about anything else. And I think each of us will discover a more satisfying holiday if we'll focus on the following changes in mindset. Number 1, don't get too stuck on the way you've done it before. If you grew up in a family or neighborhood like I did that went all out for Christmas, maybe scaling back for your own holiday celebration makes you feel a little bit like I did when my husband reminded me we have never bought each other presents, like a failure, or like you're doing it wrong. I have good news. There is no wrong way to do it. Try not to get too stuck on the way you've always done it before. Instead, focus on the values you want to cultivate in your family or community or home this year and experiment with creative ways to promote those values. Also, if you're entering a new season of life, newly independent, newly married, have young children, or have a newly empty nest, what better time to start fresh with a brand new way? If you've always been extravagant in the past, you don't have to live up to that version of yourself or to anyone else. Take a deep breath. You're not a failure. Number 2, focus on experiences over possessions. One of the reasons my husband and I have never bought Christmas presents for each other is that we are always traveling for the holidays. We live far from all of our extended family, and in order to spend time with family without breaking the bank, we have had to choose between plane tickets and Christmas presents. We've agreed together that when it comes to buying habits, we will always, not just at Christmas, value experiences over possessions. Possessions are nice, but they rust, rot, get stolen, and burn in fires. Experiences can't be taken from us. They have eternal value. Consider how you cultivate experiences this year, rather than just buying gifts which will likely end up in the Goodwill pile in a few months or years. Number 3, do the best you can with what you have. This is advice a mentor of mine once gave me about a totally different subject, but I think it applies here as well. When I was getting ready to go on a date, she would advise me not to go buy brand new clothes or to feel like I needed to lose 10 pounds before the date, but simply to do the best you can with what you have. In other words, be the best version of yourself. I would give really similar advice when it comes to Christmas. Do the best you can with what you have. That doesn't mean you shouldn't buy presents or that having a Christmas tree is a waste. It simply means don't go into debt over presents or trees. It means decide what you're going to spend on Christmas, and it doesn't have to be extravagant, and then do the best you can with what you have. Number 4, turn off the TV or find other ways to avoid being swayed by advertisements. You'd be surprised how influenced you are by advertisements. Suddenly you begin thinking that everyone has a better Christmas planned than you do. Everyone's Christmas tree belongs in a department store, and everyone's husband is buying them diamond earrings, and everyone else is buying their kids new computers. That's simply not true, no matter how convincing the ads make it look. The other thing that's not true is that families who have these things are automatically happier, like they are in the commercials, than your family, or other families who go without. Presents are nice, but they can't make you happy. If you want a truly happy holiday season, you'll have to find ways to cultivate happiness from the inside. You just listened to the post titled A Lighter, Simpler, More Beautiful Holiday by Allison Fallon with BecomingMinimalist.com. And thank you again to FreshBooks for their support. A challenge that I recommend trying is tracking your expenses every day for a month. See if you are having a lighter, simpler, more beautiful holiday and see exactly how much you spend every single day. You can do that easily with FreshBooks without getting frustrated with tools like Excel. FreshBooks is a cloud accounting company for small business owners and freelancers. It's the easiest to use system that I've ever seen for tracking expenses because you can use it on a computer or on the go with their app. I find that way easier than using a spreadsheet. They also have time tracking and invoicing, which is surprisingly easy to use. It only takes 30 seconds to make an invoice. So try FreshBooks out. All of their features for free for a month with no commitment. You don't even have to enter a credit card. Just come by freshbooks.com/living and enter Optimal Living Daily in the How'd You Hear About Us section. Again, that's freshbooks.com/living. And before we go, I've actually narrated Allison Fallon before a couple of times. Once was an article on No Sidebar, and then the other was another guest post on Becoming Minimalist, just like this one. If you want to hear those, the episodes are 409 and 621. I thought you might be interested in that. And I'll leave it there for today. Thank you for being here. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.
Hey, this is Dan from the Optimal Finance Daily podcast, which is a lot like this show, except more focused on personal finance. Justin handpicks the best posts he can find from blogs and authors like Ramit Sethi, Mr. Money Mustache, and more, and I read them to you 5 days a week. So if you enjoy this podcast, come on over and subscribe to Optimal Finance Daily too. And together, we'll optimize your financial life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.